Hi, and welcome to Filled with His Love. I was listening to the hymn Come Ye Disconsolate the other day when one phrase in the lyrics caught my attention. Come to the feast of love. Before I describe what I've learned about this phrase, let's consider what the word disconsolate means. This hymn is still in our hymn book, but we don't sing it very often, and the version I listened to was by the male quartet Gentry, with a different melody than the one in the hymn book. If you want a spiritual boost, I recommend you take a listen to this song by Gentry. The word disconsolate is not a word we use often in conversation, but you can still find it in literature and, of course, in this old Christian hymn. The version of the hymn that appears in our hymnal today was first published in 1840, Manchester Hymnal, the first official hymnal of the British Latter-day Saints. Interesting that first hymnal came out in England when we had more members in England than we had in the States at that point. Many of the lyrics came from Thomas More's original hymn published in 1815. So this hymn has been around a very long time. And one reason it resonated with the early saints, we think, was likely because they had reason to be disconsolate, given all the trials and persecution they suffered. Disconsolate means grief-stricken, hopeless. It's an intense, active feeling. Nothing can make it better. We can't just make it better. Consolate, of course, means comforted. Disconsolate means beyond comfort, without comfort. No comfort can be found. So it's a strong word. Come ye disconsolate. So this hymn is saying, when you feel beyond comfort, when you feel hopeless, come and kneel at the mercy seat, fervently kneel. Here bring your wounded hearts. Here tell your anguish. Earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. I did an earlier episode in the podcast on that last phrase, earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. The imagery of someone who is totally bereft, approaching God in prayer with all of their seemingly insoluble problems and grief, is powerful. This is a very powerful hymn. But then the hymn gets even more poignant as we sing, Come to the Feast of Love. What does this phrase mean? The meaning of this phrase for me is broad and deep. First, let's look at verses in the book of Revelation 19, beginning with verse 7. This is in Revelation, quote, Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. Okay, so the Lamb is obviously Jesus Christ. And who is the bride? That would be us. The wife, that's us. The house of Israel, his covenant people. So let's read it again. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to Jesus Christ. The marriage of Christ is come, and his people, the house of Israel, hath made themselves ready. Now the next verse. And he saith unto me, Write, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. The supper of the Lamb, this is a celebratory feast offered to all those who have kept their covenants. These are those who have bound themselves to Christ and his atonement. It is a joyous feast, perhaps more joyous than any joy we have ever experienced. We accepted the Lord's grace as we covenanted with him, and then we accepted his invitation to celebrate his second coming, all arrayed in white linen, as the verse in Revelation says. This will be the greatest celebration ever, and we will feel his love as we approach him. When the Lord returns, we will be literally coming to the feast of love. So, that's one possible rendition of the hymn line, Come to the Feast of Love. But there are other possibilities. The hymn also includes these lines. These are the lyrics of the hymn. Joy of the desolate, light of the straying, hope of the penitent, fadeless and pure. Here speaks the Comforter, tenderly saying, "Earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot cure." The words straying and penitent clearly call all sinners to come to the feast of love. This is a call to all of us, imperfect as we all are. But this time the line says heaven, or in other words, Christ, can cure us. He can remove sin. He can forget that the mistake we made ever happened. He took it upon himself, so we don't need to worry about it anymore. We can come to the feast of his love for us. The last verse of the hymn is especially important. Elder Holland has referred to the sacrament as the feast of the soul. We are coming to the Lord's Supper, to his very table, every Sabbath day when we partake of the sacrament. We are often instructed to review the past week and think of all the things we would like to correct, and that is certainly useful. But the sacrament is also a time of celebration, a time to remember how much the Lord loves us, how eager he is to draw close to us, that we might have his Spirit to be with us always. The final line of the hymn goes like this: "Here see the bread of life. See waters flowing forth from the throne of God, pure from above. Come to the feast of love. Come ever knowing, earth has no sorrow, but heaven can remove." I genuinely hope that when Christ returns, I will be able to accept his invitation to sup with him and all the house of Israel. The communal nature of that event will add to the love that flows from Christ to his people and from his people to one another. At that point, we will be able to show that we love each other as he has loved us. But until that day, I want to partake of the sacrament not only with a feeling of repentance, which is essential, but also with a feeling of celebration, that I can feel his love not only at this sacramental feast, but every single day. I can open my arms and receive him now, as I hope to receive him when he comes again. I always want to be ready, myself, to come to his feast of infinite love. I hope this is helpful to you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.